And one last thing. When my mother-in-law, during her last few hours up at the hospital, she had a couple cousins that was up there, and I had a chance to share my story, how God had worked in my life, to them. I didn't preach the funeral. The minister Ronnie Maggard preached the funeral, and he did a wonderful job. And I shared the story about the vineyard owner and how the last to be first and first to be last. And what's important is that we just call on the name of Jesus before we leave this plane of existence. Anyways, we got to the funeral site out at the graveyard, and I did give the closing ceremony there, and then Ronnie Maggard closed us out in prayer. But after it was over, here's what it is. Remember when I said after Jesus came and sealed the deal in 2020? How my heart's desire was that people see Jesus in me. You know, they look past me and see the Spirit of God living inside of me. And this little girl comes up to me, one of the two cousins that I got to minister to and talk to at the hospital. And she's weeping and crying. I think God sent her. I think this was a gift, an angel sent from God. Little Ruth was that day. And she come up to me and she's weeping and crying. And she says, George, she says, there's just something about you. She says, I can't explain it. I don't know. I look at you and I see. I says, what do you see, Ruth? She's like, I says, do you see Jesus? And she starts crying even more. She says, yes. God don't give me time to weep, because he's always there. He's an intimate God. He knows what you need when you need it. I don't care what you're doing. Whether you're 2 fists in on a 24-hour run and you done soiled your clothes down here. Whether you're pumping dope in your veins over here. God is with you. And his heart's crying. He loves you. He loves you just like he loves me. Just like he loves the person to your left and right now. He loves all of us. But his desire is that you come to him. Why ain't he came back? Because his desire is that no one should perish, but everyone come to the truth that is in Jesus. Not no other God. There's one way to heaven. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no man cometh to the Father except through me. I love you, friend. This is real. Forget everything else out there. Forget the bands, the this thing and that thing. The most important thing is your relationship with Jesus.